Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lily. I am so happy you're here with me today. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how I make my signature little house envelope pockets, miniature style. Oh my gosh, they are so stinking cute. And it all started because I made journals that are slightly smaller than what I typically make. And I like to include my little signature envelope houses in all of my junk journals. And these were no exception to that. These are smaller junk journals, and here is one of them. If you would like to see a flip through of this, I will link it up above for you. But in this journal, I have added the cutest little house envelope pocket that you have ever seen, and it is so easy to make, even easier than the traditional little house envelope pockets. I'll show you what one of them looks like, but look at how stinking cute this is. Look at that. It fits in the palm of my hand. It is so stinking cute. Let me bring it up close. As soon as I go over into the Crafty Loft, you'll be able to see what all of these look like. I'll show you the one that got me started, and then I'm going to show you the process as to how to make these. These are so easy, so stinking easy, you're not going to believe it, but look at how cute. And then they also have a little pocket, and then in it, I've added a little card. Oh my gosh, they are so stinking cute. Let me show you another one because I just can't contain myself. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I used washi tape, scraps of scrapbooking cardstock, some stickers, some punch outs, some leftover trim, just whatever I have in my Crafty Loft. So stinking cute. Okay, enough of that. Are you ready to learn how to make the easiest little house envelope pockets? I'll meet you over in the Crafty Loft. Let's go. I have been creating my signature little house envelope pockets for a few years now, and I am going to link the video that got it all started. I'll have that up above and in the description area below. But these are slightly different. They are small, tiny or miniature little houses, and they turned out so cute, and they are so easy to make. And these were prompted because I'm currently working on smaller junk journals, and I needed to come up with a little house that would fit the smaller journals. But look at how cute these are. They are miniature. Should I call them miniature? They measure about 2 3/4 by 4 inches, but these are the small junk journals that I have been working on. I will have a flip through video of these coming up very shortly, so subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And this is what I had to come up with. I had to come up with a smaller version of my signature little house envelope pockets, something that would fit into this journal. This journal measures about 4.5 by 5.5 inches, so I needed a little house. And I started brainstorming, trying to come up with ideas, something that would be easy and cute and would fit perfect in a smaller junk journal. I happen to have these smaller greeting size envelopes, and these measure about 5.5 by 4.25 inches. I had a whole bunch of these pink envelopes, and I actually embossed them a couple years ago. I mean, I had a lot of these. But if you don't have this specific size, any greeting size envelope will do. Sometimes you can buy them in packages at craft stores. A lot of the times they sell these envelopes just random at thrift stores. I've got all kinds of different sizes, and all I'm going to do is, this is it, cut it right down the middle. Ta-da! This one measures the 5.5 inches in length. Here's a different one, by the way. I'm going to pop in like pictures of just random envelopes that you can use for this project. All I did is cut it right down the middle. This little one that I'm working with happens to measure 5.5 inches wide. So the center is 2 3/4 inches, and that is it. One cut, one single cut. When I tell you these are easy, these are so stinking easy and so stinking cute. Step 2 is I need to match the flap. So notice how the right-hand side of the flap is at a little angle. All I'm going to do is match the opposite end. I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm just going to trim at an angle so that both ends or both edges look somewhat close to each other. They don't have to be exact. It's the illusion of a little roof, and I will do that to all of these. Here's another envelope that you could use. Whatever small greeting size envelope that you have, this will work for this specific project. I love collecting note cards and small greeting cards because I like to use the greeting card in my junk journals, and sometimes I'm left over with the envelope. Now I have a perfect project for all of these leftover envelopes. And even if your flap is a different shape, all we have to do is trim it down to give it the look of a roof. Work with what you have. Even a coin envelope will work. You don't even have to cut a coin envelope because it's just perfect. But if you do cut one of these small envelopes, step number 3 is we need to seal the edge that was cut open. Here's a coin envelope. Look at how perfect. Can you see? Can you see the potential of that little coin pocket? How cute it would be to transform that into a little house. Go through your supplies and check to see what type of little envelopes that you have. If you'd like to see, the other envelope pockets that I make, I have an entire playlist, and I will actually link that playlist at the very end of this video. I am going to use some wide washi tape to seal the cut edge. Super easy, nothing fancy. I could stitch it, I could glue it. There are numerous ways to seal the edge. But since I have all of this washi and this is an easy project, the best thing to do is use up the washi, and I'm using the wide one because I'm going to wrap it around that cut edge. Most of it will be visible on the very front, and then I'm just going to fold it over to completely seal it. What we're going to end up with is a little pocket that will look like a coin envelope. So this is another great way of creating your own little DIY coin envelopes from greeting card envelopes. Like, it's a 2-in-1. You can use it as a coin envelope or make these cute, small, or miniature little house envelope pockets. And that's it. That is all it takes to make your pocket. So super easy. And it takes minutes to make these. I made 6 of them in this video. And it took me about 35 minutes to make all 6. It didn't take me very long at all. So can you imagine just using one envelope and making 2 of these little house envelope pockets? It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes to create these. You can use stickers and die cuts and punch outs that you have to embellish it. And I made this super easy with things that I had readily available in my stash. I didn't overthink it. I work sometimes, I have an idea sometimes and I want to execute it immediately. And I work really fast with supplies that I have within reach. After I do all of the 6 and seal the edges, the fun begins, because that's when we get to embellish our envelopes. Up ahead, I will also drop in a picture so that you can see where I store all of my greeting cards and my envelopes. I have these great rolling cabinets, and they each have like 3 drawers, and I have one rolling cabinet specifically for all of my greeting cards and all of my envelopes. And you can kind of see it in the background from the pictures that I've been dropping in, but I'll show you one so you could see what how it is that I house them. And I grabbed some stickers, and you'll see those on the right hand side. And then I also have these heart punch outs on the left hand side. I had some gold poster board leftover, scraps from a leftover project, and they were literally scraps. So I grabbed a handheld heart punch and I just started punching away to create all of these little gold hearts. Before I toss anything in the garbage, I make sure that I try to get the most use out of it, especially papers that I have used for die cutting and, running through my big shot. Sometimes you're left with odd shapes and odd negatives. Well, all of those odd shapes I run, or I gather my smaller punches. It could be hearts, it could be stars, it could be circles. And I use up as many scraps as I can until there's almost nothing left. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so that's what I did with that gold poster board. And look at all of those little hearts that I had left over. I often think that I should probably record some of those random little projects that I do. But it's also what I'm doing as I'm tidying up and putting things away. And as I'm going through my scraps, I find new ways to repurpose all of the scraps that I have. And my go-to is usually handheld punches, or even trying to cut new shapes with my dies or my framelits. This is beautiful washi tape. It is from Amity Bloom. I got this, I want to say I got it maybe last year. And it was one of her releases. It is so pretty. She has some of the prettiest washi tape with beautiful florals. And I'm using glue stick because, as you know, all washi tends to lift. I have not found a washi that won't lift. They all lift. If you have a good washi that is nice and sticky and won't lift, let me know. This is beautiful, but because I want to make sure that it doesn't lift on the edges, I will always use a little bit of extra adhesive just to make sure it is securely adhered to my project. I removed it because I want more of that pink rose to show on the front side and less of it on the back. If I were only working on two of these little houses, I would have been done a long time ago. But I grabbed 3 envelopes, and I knew that working on the 6 would go by really fast because I had already worked on a prototype off camera, which is the very first one that I showed you at the beginning of the video. I just love these so much, and all new ideas are, generating in my head. I just can't wait to work on more of these. I will continue to work on my traditional signature little house envelope pockets, but now that I have these smaller ones, I will work with both of them in tandem. They are so stinking cute. We have the adhesive, or like the gummy side of the envelope flap, which is meant to seal your envelope. I want to cover that. And even though it won't activate unless you get it wet, but I don't want to take any chances in case, maybe there's more humidity where you live. I'm in Utah where it is really dry. I doubt these will self-activate and get, gooey and sticky. But if you're in an area where there's a lot more humidity, this will definitely avoid your little rooftop from accidentally sealing. So I'm just taking some cute checker washi tape and covering over the adhesive on the flap. This washi tape, it's so cute. I got this 4-pack, or was it a 2? I think I bought 2 different packs. There were 2 designs per pack, and I got them at Hobby Lobby. I'm loving the checkerboard print right now. Well, I've always loved it, but I'm loving it more right now, and I'm using it a lot more in my work recently. And so it just looks perfect. I opted just to use the pink on the inside of the flap. And that also adds a nice little decorative element to the inside. In my traditional signature little house envelope pockets, I usually will line the inside of the envelope with book page or pretty scrapbooking paper. But where these are smaller and they're colored envelopes, see, the fun thing about using these smaller greeting card envelopes is they come in different colors versus the junk mail envelopes or the number 10 envelopes that I use for the larger little house envelope pockets are plain white. These are going to be so much more fun because of all the different colors that these come in. So cute. And I really do love the way the embossing looks on the flap. I think I used a turquoise Heidi Swapp texture paste and ran it through a stencil. This is my drawer, and this is where I keep all of my greeting cards and smaller envelopes. So I just reached in there to grab some envelopes. And this is the one that's the prototype I made off camera. So I'm going to leave that here in plain sight to use as inspiration. I grabbed this older heart punch. I've had this one for many, many years. It is a Stampin' Up! Punch. And I'm going to punch out some hearts from this gold foil cardstock because I am going to use these hearts as a faux chimney, just like on the one that's on the right-hand side. And I'm going to use different scrapbooking papers. This is Anna Griffin paper. These are offcuts from projects that I've made. And I'm going to use 3 or 4 different designs just to add a variety of colors and patterns to the hearts. This is more Anna Griffin offcut paper. Do you see how I've used these for Rolodex cards? And these are the odd shaped offcuts that I keep, the negatives that I keep, and I don't throw those away until I have punched out every single bit of space that is left. And do you see how I am just going to attach them to the top to make it look like a faux chimney? I'm only going to glue the bottom half of the heart, so just a little bit of the adhesive. The top will protrude just a little bit, giving the illusion of a chimney. And this way the flap can easily open and close, and it'll lay flat once I put it in my junk journal. And I'm going to do the same to all 6 of these. They are so, I just can't get over how cute these are. And they are going to be perfect in the 3 little junk journals that I've just recently made. I'll link a video up above showing you how I made the smaller junk journals. It's a size that I don't typically work with. So they measure about 5.5 by 4.5. There's one that measures 4 by 6, so much smaller than the typical 8.5 by 6 inch journal that I like to work with. But they turned out so cute. I'll link that video for you up above. And if you want to find all of the videos that I referenced today, just open the description area, scroll to the very bottom, and you will see thumbnails to all of the videos that I referenced today. That's the video. The video that I'm referring to is how I made those little junk journals, but I will have a flip through video of the little junk journals. They're really cute and really more of a minimalistic type of journal. And I will be doing a flip through. So please subscribe if you are not subscribed so you don't miss that. I may have it here within the next day or so. And then I'll come back and I will link it up above so that you can reference it here or refer to it. And in the finished journals, I added a few more embellishments and some dangles, and they turned out so pretty. So now that I've added all of my chimneys, I'm now going to cut out some rectangle pieces to create the look of a door. More random envelopes that you can easily use to recreate this look. I'm grabbing some of these offcuts and I'm going to cut some little doors that are going to measure, I want to say about 2 inches in length and 1.5 inches wide. I thought that would be a really good size for a door. So about 2 by 1.5 inches. I kind of just guesstimated at what a good door size would be for the front of these little houses. If you are going to recreate these, you can make your doors as big or as little as you want. You can also add windows. This is what's fun about this project. It's paper piecing, and you can embellish so many different ways using stickers, offcuts, paper piecing, even drawing your own doors. In the playlist, I will link at the very end. I have so many different styles of little house envelope pockets, so many different designs, and so many different techniques that I've applied throughout these past few years of making the little house envelope pockets. So you can watch all of those videos and take inspiration from those to recreate them on a smaller scale. I love that I'm able to use all of these scraps of paper to paper piece. So paper piecing is my go-to. It is a great way to use up scraps. And I didn't do any windows for these. I have in the past punched out circles to create some fun, whimsical windows. These are basically whimsical little house envelope pockets. And again, you can decorate as much or as little as you want. And of course, you're going to generate your own ideas. So I really hope that this project inspires you to create some of your own in your own personal style. And now I'm just going to simply glue my little rectangle pieces to the fronts. I like to place something heavy, even if it's just for a moment, so that the little cutouts dry flat. This Anna Griffin paper is so pretty. It is one of my favorite paper pads to work with, and I don't let a scrap of paper go to waste because the floral designs are so pretty, and they coordinated really well with Amity Bloom's washi tape. The gold sticker that you see on the little house that is on the upper right hand side, I'll show you when I add the sentiment to all of the little roofs. I pull out a little acrylic drawer where I keep all of my sentiments and my word stickers. Those are actually really old. I want to say about 10 years old. I'm surprised I still have any left. I have been using these for a long time. They were from the 99-cent store. These are stickers that I bought 10 years ago, and I bought so many. I just love those gold foil stickers. But it's too bad the 99-cent store is gone. In fact, I worked for the 99-cent store in their corporate offices in Commerce, California for a while. Back in 2019, I worked in their real estate department. So it was a really cool place to work. I'm now going to create some doorknobs with these flat back faux pearls. So I'm just grabbing a handful of these, and I'm going to use some of the ultimate glue to attach them to the doors. The Ultimate Glue is a great adhesive because it works really well on paper, especially heavier cardstocks, but it also works really well with metal, plastic, acrylic, and glass embellishments. It's quick grabbing, odorless, and dries fairly quick. So I'm just going to add a little drop right where I want the doorknob to be. This will add a little bit of dimension to the doors, but I don't mind a little bit of bulk in my junk journals. Not only can you use these to paper clip into your junk journals, but these would also make a great little gift card holder. The cards that I am going to insert in the pockets measure about the same size as a gift card. So how cute would these be as a gift, a birthday gift, any type of gift? And you can tuck in a nice little gift card in there or even some cash. And you can clip it to the outside of a gift bag or a wrapped present. You can even include a little sentiment card inside. So many ideas. These are not just for junk journals, but you could also use them for gift giving. You can even hang these from a Christmas tree if you make them Christmas design. I'm thinking outside of the box here. Last year I made like a bunting, not a bunting, it was an advent calendar. I'm going to link that for you up above. I know we're in August, but you know what? Christmas is like tomorrow. All of a sudden, it's going to be Christmas time. So I made an advent calendar last year with my little house envelope pockets. Turned out so cute. If you'd like to see that, I'll have that linked for you up above or in the description area below. So many uses for these little houses. I'm grabbing some leftover trim, just cutting some pieces that are the length of the rooftop, and I'm going to make it look like awning. And you can do fringe, you can use whatever you want, even washi tape to decorate the edge. I use this fun little fringe on the upper right hand one that looks like snowflakes. But I loved it so much, I added it to that one house. Use the fringe and the trim or whatever it is you have to decorate to create your own little awning. The more you embellish the little things, the cuter it looks. This is where it's fun to gather all of those cute, smaller embellishments that you may have and decorate your little house. As I was going through my stickers and trying to decide what stickers I should use, I had these like potted plant stickers with little cactus. Oh my gosh, those would have looked so cute. But if I was doing a different style and not so, these have more of a rose theme. So the cactus I didn't think would look as nice. I'm sure it would have looked beautiful, but I'll save those for a different house in the future. Maybe something a little bit more southwestern. And now I added a little bit more glue to the front of the door. I'm going to add some of these smaller heart punch outs to make it look like a little peephole, heart-shaped peephole on the front of the door, or just some embellishment to the door. I have the hearts. Let's just use the hearts. This tool is perfect for picking up small embellishments. That tip is like a waxy tip, and so it worked great for picking up the pearl embellishments, but also works well for picking up smaller pieces of paper. And then the opposite end has like a little pick stick. Works really well. I love this. I can't remember what it's called. Katarna? Crazy Katarna? I can't remember. It's like a little pickup stick. And there you go. Do I continue? Oh, I think this is where I come in with some of the stickers. My word sentiment stickers. I keep all of these in an acrylic drawer. And they're just from all over the place. I have Tim Holtz phrases, Heidi Swapp phrases, these 99-cent store ones. But this is where I keep all of my word sentiments. These are so old. I'm surprised they're still stuck on that sheet. Some of them have fallen off like little tiles, and they're resting at the bottom of that little drawer. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue to make sure that they stay in place. I didn't have a theme in mind for these little houses. I just gravitated towards the scraps of papers that were, within reach, and then also washi tape that was in reach. And it was just a coincidence that everything meshed so well and gave it like this rose floral theme. That was all by happenstance. I didn't plan that in advance. I love it when things work out that way. And these stickers with the little gold foil gives it just the perfect amount of glam and glitter and sparkle. I thought about sprinkling some gold splatters on the front of these houses, but I thought the stickers would be enough. I may do that in future little houses. Gold splatters are always my favorite and my go-to. These are so cute. The more I see them, the more I love them. In fact, they're sitting on my desk right now. And they are just in person, you guys. They are so stinking cute. They're about the size of the palm of my hand. They fit so perfect in my hand. And I could see how nice these would be with a gift card in them, and given as a gift. Oh my gosh. And then on the back, you can also write your sentiment on the back because I left those plain. I'm going to be really sad when I use up all of these gold foil stickers. They have been my absolute favorite these past 10 years. 10 years, I can't believe that. I'm saying that. 10 years. Of journal making. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. When I first started making journals, I didn't know what I was doing, but I persevered. And now it's just my favorite thing to do. I love paper crafting, all the different types of paper crafting, but junk journal making is my favorite thing to do. Okay, so now I'm going to grab these other stickers. And these are actually from Easter time, but there were a few butterflies in there and some florals that I thought would work really well with these little houses. And I'm just going to attach some butterflies to the front just for some more interest. And these were still pretty sticky. These are so pretty. I picked up these stickers at Hobby Lobby last year during Easter time. They are so, so pretty. They have a little bit of gold foil, so everything coordinates so well. This is what I had mentioned earlier. The most fun about working on these little house envelope pockets is when it's time to embellish them, because you can go through all of your little embellishments and maybe things you don't use very often, and just gather all of those little things and just start adding them to your little houses. And you can really go ham with these if you want. I can't wait to see what you create. And speaking of that, you can now share photographs of your projects on my community post page. If you go to my homepage, you'll see a community post spot. You can go there and share pictures of projects that you have worked on. I would love to see, especially if you've watched my videos and there are videos that inspired you to create journals or little house envelope pockets. I'd love for you to be able to go onto that community post or community page and share with me what you've done. I have this little tin with some beautiful scripture cards, and I am going to add one of these to each one of the little pockets. And these are great depending on your moods and how to improve your mood. So I'm just going to pop one of these in each of the envelopes. They're so pretty. And I picked these up at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. You guys, it is August of 2025. Can you believe I have only been to Hobby Lobby twice this year? I have been on a no spend because I am out of room. I don't have any more room for for supplies. So I'm trying to use up the supplies that I have, and not just buy to hoard, but also, I want to be able to use the things that I've bought in the past. So I'm trying not to shop as much. There's so many things that I still would love to have, but I'm trying not to, and I'm trying to focus on what it is that I have right now. So I can't believe I've only been to Hobby Lobby twice this year. Look at how beautiful they are. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I will have a slideshow coming up right now at the end so that you can take a really good look at these up close. They are so pretty. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you being here. Let me know what you think down below. If you love it, please give me a heart emoji in the comments. And subscribe if you've not subscribed to my channel. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next time. I've got a few more pictures for you to see. Thank you. Bye.